Well, hello folks. On today's episode we're going to be onion harvesting. We're going to be doing some quality control on them, and we're going to be well, showing you how we cure them so that they can store well. Also plenty of weeding going on as usual. So the plan for today is to weed the entire original tiki hut side of the allotment, as well as the onions. But let's take a look at the onions. Some good ones, some not so good. Enjoy. That's going to be a brassica bed, the brassica family of crops. And I also need another one there. These are well along now. They're all getting the scapes on. So I'm going to be going through this bed, taking out the onions. I have took out quite a few of them, as you can see down there. I'll show you in a minute. And prepping them up for storage, but doing quality control on them to see if potentially we can eat the ones that are not going to store well. I'm checking them as well for white rot. So let's get into it. I'll show you what I'm on about. Okay, so white rot is a serious fungal disease that can affect the sort of basal area of your onion bulbs, and it can persist in the soil for many years. So I have noticed that there are some examples of white rot on some of the onions that I've been pulling out, causing when you have the dry and then the damp conditions and such like. It comes on more really in the damp, humid conditions if you've got the white rot in your soil. This has been used as an onion bed previously, and we never really saw much action on the white rot side of things. But yeah, we'll check them out now. I have spotted some. Okay, so I'm gonna pull a couple up and we'll see if we've got any white rot on them. This looks like a bit of a candidate for it. Oh yes. So what we're looking at is this sort of white fungal stuff. It's not very prevalent, as you can see on that, but it has affected. The fact that the onion's bolted as well, and we've got the massive scape on there, which I'm gonna pop off. This is the massive scape, and as you can see, they've all got them on, and they're about to go into flower. Then we'll get the seeds off them. So I may well transplant a couple of them to get some seeds out of it. In fact, I will do for next time, because these are the sensu overwintering onions, and a lot of them have come through very nicely, as you can see there, and I'm pulling them out. Like I said, I'll show you the onions. We've got some really nice specimens over here. These are the ones that you can see here that have not gone, they've not bolted, they haven't sent up the scape. That's the scape. You could eat the scapes, and we will be doing. We're making soups out of this. I'm just taking off the scapes and putting them on there. As you can see there, it's just about to burst through. We'll have some really nice allium flowers on a couple of these if we watch out. But yeah, so the ones that have got the scapes on, we're going to be eating more or less straight away. These ones we're going to be storing, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I was talking about white rot, wasn't I? Yeah, so it is a fungal disease, soil-borne fungal disease. You can get rust on the leaves as well, leaf rust. These have been totally free of leaf rust. But yeah, there you can see under there's the beginnings of the white rot, the white fungal rot. I'll be washing my hands after this as well. But that effectively is crap. It's no good. All right. I'm going to continue on through these, and we'll see what the situation is. If you've only got a little bit of surface, say you've got a big one like this, yeah, big one like that, no scape on that one. Just pull and give it a shake, and you potentially got a little bit on the surface outer leaf. Look at that critter crawling around. then you can peel off the outer layers and that'll be fine. Which we do. We peel off a couple of the outer layers on all these onions, and then they store better. All right. See, this is ready for pulling anyway because the stem has flopped over. Most of those ones over there were kind of getting floppy. But when they flop over there, that's the end of the growing cycle for the onion. If you've got a good full onion, that's the end of the growing cycle. A lot of these haven't, yeah, but some of them have. They're coming out anyway. So, like I said, we're doing the quality control on them now. That one, I'm just going to peel off the outer layers, and I'll show you the green onion underneath. Okay. Now there is the beginnings. There's a little soft area there. Okay, that was the beginnings. Try and get it in focus of the white rot. So I've pulled off the outer layers of that. We're going to leave that to dry out in the sun on the bed for a little bit, and then we're going to hang them up in the polytunnel. And hopefully we've just caught it in time that it's not going to continue on, but I'll keep my eye on it. But yeah, once we hang them, we cure them, you get another layer of the brown skin will come on. These are green onions at the moment, fresh green onions, which you can eat, no problem with that. But we want to store them for give them a bit of longevity. So yeah, we're going to cure them. So there's all the scapes, or the seed pods, if you like. So we're looking at potato and onion scape soup. A great big boil up of that with all of those. So waste not, want not. You can use the leaves as well off the onions if you want to. But because we're storing these, we're going to cure these off. We're going to keep those on and then let them dry out upside down inside the big polytunnel up there, which we're going to do next. The ones that have bolted and they're beyond a joke, we're going to be eating them quite shortly. So again, we're going to dry them out in there for a little bit, cure them off a little bit, but they won't store. These will. These should store all right, these. I've got some more there with the scapes on up the top, smaller ones. We had some twices, by the way. We had some that had split like shallots into twices, and that's what these are. These are ones that were that are doubled up. These, most of them, and grown like shallots grow. But again, we got the scapes on them, so they're not going to last very long. But we're going to be eating them over the next couple of weeks. These ones we're going to store. So we've got 28 of those to store, long-term store that is. So let's get on with that. All right, so this is going to be, this is our drying rack. At the moment, it's a cane store, but I'm going to clear all this off, and that's where the onions are going to be going. They're going to be poking through there and hanging down on this side. And then I'm going to put, above these, I'm going to put the ones that had the scapes on. So I'm going to put them on that side, and then the other ones on this side. The ones we're going to long-term store. The beans are coming on all right. I'm going to be taking some of these beans tonight. The dwarf French coming on a treat then. These still need desperately potting on, don't they? Sun gold there, and the chilies, chili peppers, purple jalapeno I think they are, or jalapeno, one of the two. They were gifts then. But let's get this sorted out. We'll clear all this off. Howdy folks. You're quite precarious there where you are, but I hope this goes okay. So all we're doing is we're going to be hanging these onions, Exhibit A. In fact, Exhibit B, I've already put one in. We're going to be hanging these onions to cure. So I'll just get the leaf, feed it through the grid, the metal grid, and the onion will sit like that on the metal grid. I'm bringing up sort of fistfuls at a time. Here's the whopper that you saw earlier, and that'll be in the thumbnail, this one. I might peel off a couple of these outer leaves just so they could fit through the gap properly. Because eventually we want to be plaiting these and hanging them in the kitchen. But we can only do that once they are cured. Okay, so leave me with that, and then I'll get back to you in about 10 minutes, which will be nothing, no time at all for you, but in about 10 minutes I'll have them in there, and I'll have the other ones in here, the ones that won't store, won't cure very well, won't last for a long time. These should last for months if they're cured. The ones with the that are bolted, the ones with the scapes on, the onion scapes on, which we're going to be eating in soup, they won't last as long, but we might get about, I don't know, 6 weeks worth out of them. Alright, and they're going to be going here. These ones, we're looking at 3-4 months. I mean, Terry last year, Tip Top Terry Maguire, he's got onions there that have lasted for 6 months. Lasted into the new year. Right, let's get on with it. We're getting there. Just feeding them in. That's about a third of the ones that we're going to be long-term storing. So we'll go and grab some more now, guys. So hopefully you can see them. Let's turn you around the torch. So they're all in. They're all hanging and curing. These white skins as they are now, because I've peeled off a couple of layers like I spoke about before, these white skins will all go back to the usual brown skin onion in about 2 weeks. And they should have dried out in that time as well. So these stems that are coming off from them, 2 to 3 weeks, conditions dependent, they'll all dry out into stalks, crispy stalks, that you can then plait, which we'll be showing you when we get to that stage. Plait into bunches, string them, hang them, and be like a French farm kitchen jobby. I love this polytunnel. It's a trampoline frame. It's 2 10-foot trampoline frames, which come in sections. Obviously you can get semicircles from them, so you've got 4 semicircles which are 10 feet wide, and they have this this hoop. Obviously the good part about it as well is you can hang this, you can use the trampoline springs to hang into the little slots that are in the trampoline frame and produce like a shelf like this. Just run a piece of metal, or well, this is a metal tube across the front of it, and then we've hung it. I'll show you. Yeah, so it's hooked in at the top in the slats, little slots, and then it just hooks around your bar. This was part of an old tent, I think, something like that. You know, that goes across these grids we got from somewhere, God knows where. Probably skip diving if it's me. And that's what we're using, the racking. I'm using it as racking, like, you know, and they can hang there and cure off. I've just spotted a butterfly. I'm easily distracted, me, aren't I? Look at this one here. It's pretty. Some sort of moth in it. Yeah. Anyway, there you are. All hung up there curing now. And the metal grid. Take some of this garlic as well, I think. That garlic's dried off now. It's all it's ready for storage. That is cured now. So I'll take that home and get it prepped and eaten. And it's onwards and upwards with the weeding. I've cleared the onions out of that bed now. I'm going to be using that for the brassicas. I've got 48 or something like 48 cauliflowers that are going to be going in, and desperate to go in. I've got one bed there, more or less, just the little tack nails round it and a bit of trimming up, and there's the former onion bed. Now I've been weeding all the beds as I've been working my way up the plot. We'll be putting the beetroot in there as well tomorrow. Got quite a few beetroots to go in. Bold tidy beetroot. But this needs clearing off now, and then I can start to create the frames for the nets, the butterfly nets, butterfly and pigeon nets. But let's get this weeded. Bed done, weeded. Been plenty of weeding done today. You can't tell, right? But there has. That's been completely weeded. That's been completely weeded, and that's been completely weeded, and that's been weeded. That's been weeded, although there wasn't many in there. And I've done the front of these here. One of the spaghetti squash had died the death. This end one. So I'm definitely going to have to corral those in, those broad beans. Look at them little buggers there. I hope you're hungry. So yeah, and I'm pig sick of the weeding. There's still tons and tons and tons to do. It is too much for one man alone.